according from the government argument, they said that they want to bring national equality in our society where they still have some problem in our society, especially like the racism. So the government team said that we want to bring national equality with reform the all police institution rather than defund the police institution. But as we know that racism is not come out from the police, just from police. As we know that racism is can from the anywhere where racism uh, can we see in all sector. For example, when you want to join some institution, but the rule said that we don't need the black American people, black people. So this means that racism still happen in outside the police institution. But as we know that, why is the police institution need to reform? They said that because racism is, we can see the bigger racism in the police institution where they do physically attack the people, even they just do the a few little criminal or not. So this is why we as the opposition teams brings that if this will make why we should defunding the police institution. And the second argument is we want to increase the national equality without make unfair system in our society. First, let's do my argument why we should defunding rather than the reform. First, we know that if you want to reform, so you want to change all the system, all the institution itself, rather than we know that in our society the criminal rate is always high. When, for example, in every day we can see minimum one crime in our society. So if you want to reform all the institution, all the police institution, so the criminal still happen. So how you can stop the criminal case? Even you still reform them. And the second, that if we defund them, the money from the defund we still use it to the other sector. As I said, for example, the social welfare, healthcare, education, and something like that. Where it still have the benefit to our government, our society, and also from the police institution, we still give them punishment from their action, like the abusing and misconduct, rather than we reform them. As we know that in the police institution, just a few police who do the misconduct and abusing, not all. So where is national equality? Even you judge all the institution, even there's some just from a few people just do something wrong. So that's the point from my argument. And the second that that if we defund them, so this means that we still have the chance to get the police without to kick out them from the institution, rather than we know that in the reform maybe the policemen want to be kicked out from the government, because from the government team side that if we want to decrease the white dominant in the police institution. So if you want to decrease the white dominant, but you still kick out them because you want to reform them, rather than we want to defund them. So we defund them, but we still have the skill, rather than you kick out them if you want to make the equality. So you lost their ability, where we know that in our society the criminal is still happen day on day. So let's do my second argument about the national equality. The government team said that in national equality where there is no racism, there is no there is no difference between there is no different dominant between black people, white people, and Asian, and something like that. But you know that if whatever you will do about the decrease the white dominant in America, you know how many population is white people in America? You know, more than 50% is from white people. So where is you will make the national equality, even if the problem itself is not just from the dominant? Because you know that the government team said that if the racism is come up from the environment, such as from the mindset of them, they think that if they greater than them. So this the big problem in our society, where we know that the mindset can change everything. So what we do to change the mindset itself, you know, the government teams will bring with the reform the police institution, as we know that the racism is not from the police institution. So I think it's not effective from us, because even you just stop the racism from the police institution, you know, the racism still happen in the other institution from the other people. It's not from the police. Then they have the mindset if the racism is still happen, because they think that they more greater than them. So if you want make the national equality, you should give the police the punishment if they do the abusing and misconduct. Because you know, if there is no punishment, yes, it's not unfair, then there is no national equality. So we want to give the punishment with use defunding the police institution. So you know, like I said before, defunding is have the many benefit rather than the reform, and that, you know, we can use the funding itself to give education to the all people, because the racism is not from the police institution but the all the people. So we can give education with the defunding for the police. We use the money to the give education to all people to stop the racism. So you know, from this way we can bring the national equality without do the physically uh, physically uh, physically at us do. Because if you want to stop the physically attack or something like that, you first change their mindset, because their mindset they do the action. Okay, again, because the default we have the many benefit, because you know, we can stop the racism and bring the national equality like the mindset before. Everyone, thank you.